Hello, my name is Kaitlyn or Kate Taylor. This is being filmed on June 7th, 2025. I hope you can forgive me. I'll be referencing some notes here off to the side that I have, and I also have my cell sheet, which I will be going over as well. But I'm still kind of learning about this, so I hope that you can forgive me for looking over at my notes periodically. For our Module 3 application of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell interactions, I have chosen to study tuberculosis cells. Quite simply, this can all kind of be boiled down and reduced to one specific sentence, kind of in response to the cell interaction of it all. The eukaryotic cell is the host body or the human body, and the prokaryotic cell is the tuberculosis strain itself. So, tuberculosis is a relatively simple cell, and then the human body, of course, the eukaryotic is a complex cell. So, the host body is the prokaryotic cell, and I'm sorry, is the eukaryotic cell, and the prokaryotic cell is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis specifically is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. It's also abbreviated MTB. That's what I'll be referring to with tuberculosis going forward is MTB. Throughout my research with MTB and the host body, it was pretty easy to determine and see how tuberculosis is really difficult to treat in a lot of different ways because every time tuberculosis enters the host body and the host body deploys its immune defenses, tuberculosis has a lot of different ways to evade those immune responses, in which I will be going over more specifically in this presentation here. Excuse me, just referencing my notes to stay on track. The specific interaction relies, like I said, basically on tuberculosis entering the host body and the host body sending out its immune responses. A lot of those immune responses rely on T cells and then more specifically Th helper cells. I'll go specifically more into those specific T and Th cells as I go forward. There's also the formation of granulomas and macrophages within the cell itself. Um, Going into my presentation, which will of course be a copy of this for further reference, as this is kind of these are all pretty bad drawings of the human body specifically right here. But this is a cell. These purple lines represent the MTB strain. Going more specifically into a blown out version right here, it's easy to see neutrophils right here, and then the MTB and the MTB antigens, which are these little circles that you can see. These all colors, like the blue and the purple, those are the T and the Th cells. So basically, once the host body detects any sort of bacteria coming into its body, it sends out all of these T cells, specifically TCD4 plus and TCD8 plus. Specifically within the TCD4 plus, there is like a sub, I call it in my own brain to make sense of it, I call it a sub helpers of the Th cells. So you have Th1, Th2, and Th17, if I'm not mistaken, and those are the helper cells of the TD4 plus. They specifically get sent out to kind of help neutralize the MTB strain that's coming in. That being said, there is a lot of different ways that MTB is able to evade all of the host body and what it does in immune response. Specifically, MTB alters the amount of lipid bodies within macrophages, which macrophages get sent out immediately upon MTB getting entered into the human body, and the macrophages kind of help to suppress or almost like wall in, along with the granulomas. So granulomas and macrophages help to wall in the MTB, but MTB kind of creates a very nutrient-rich, lipid-rich environment where they're able to continue cell division and multiply and further infect the body. It also creates, MTB has this really interesting portion where it's able to create a bunch of different types of proteins that also interferes with the development of T cells. So the T cells that would be sent out to immediately go and to start neutralizing all these different strains, it neutralizes that. So then it basically is allowed to run rampant within the body. More specifically going into this, I wanted to kind of explore more of what happens with MTB. So MTB kind of can infect basically everything. So kind of looking at this, you can see the different cells. These are the Th cells down here that are more separate, and then right here are the TCD4 or TCD8 positive cells. From there, as you can kind of see, it can go down and infect the lungs. This blue portion right here is this kind of interaction happening over and over while it's also causing cell death. So there is a lot of necrotic cell death within any sort of infection of tuberculosis or MTB. From there, these cells can get into the bloodstream, which, as you can see, this is a very poor drawing of the bloodstream. I'm no artist by any means, but from there it can get into the bloodstream, which also can get into the lymph nodes. So it's all kind of this very big aggressive circle, which can go straight up to the human body. Bad drawing, I know. But as you can see, I drew the purple dashes all over to show MTB infecting the entire host body in not only the brain, the lungs, that's your pancreas, liver, spleen, all the way down to your intestines and into your colon. This is called extrapulmonary tuberculosis, so that just basically means that it's taking over the entire body. Um, but because of the way that all of this kind of works, MTB is able to kind of run rampant as long as it continues with stopping the body's immune response through stopping the stopping the T cells and the Th cells from forming and being able to kind of create that nutrient-rich environment within the granulomas and macrophages. Um, Thank you very much for listening. I did my best. Thank you.